How on earth do you prepare for that?
My mother was the queen for a very long time, and although you kind of know that this might happen.
It's no longer a secret that the British royal family has been going through some hard times, resulting from the change in who sits on the throne and varying ideologies. For King Charles, he has been committed to a more modern outlook for the royal family, but the likes of Princess Anne beg to differ. Particularly, Princess Anne has been quite outspoken against the proposal to shrink the number of working members of the royal family, which would channel resources to only those in the line of succession. One might wonder why King Charles made such a decision, and what faults Princess Anne found in the proposal. Join us as we unravel the details of these events. Since his accession to the British throne in September 2022, King Charles III has proven himself committed to the modernization of the monarchy in order for it to adapt both to what the country's values are and what would, quite practically, be expected from a contemporary royal institution. He has done this most importantly by cutting down the number of active working members of the royal family. This also restructures the performance of royal duties and reduces the number of royal households to be maintained. In fact, such a move on the part of King Charles is no different from his long-espoused vision of a slimmed-down monarchy. It is also said that King Charles's decision to reduce the number of active members within the royal family is significantly guided by his desire to reduce the cost that the monarchy transfers to the British taxpayers. He has, by this move, attempted to address criticisms about the expenditure of the monarchy and bring greater openness and accountability into the finances of the royals. There have been plenty of occasions when people have questioned the need to finance a number of residences and lifestyles of luxury for the more peripheral members of the family, and the king's reforms have been designed to mitigate such concerns. Under the rule of King Charles, the only members of the family who would be allowed to carry out visible duties and make any sort of formal visits or receive funding are the principal members, that is, those who are directly in line to the crown. By focusing resources along the line of succession, King Charles has been able to maintain some sense of stability and continuity, at least in the sense that the monarchy is sensitive to public sentiment on financial matters. One very important component of King Charles' approach is greater transparency in how royal funds are spent. As Prince of Wales, he had a good reputation for being frugal with the resources available to him for the running of the Duchy of Cornwall, which is now left to Prince William. All of these experiences would surely influence his style of governance as king, where the use of taxpayer money in the running of the monarchy should be for things that are more important. Coupled with the financial implications, Charles's restructuring of the monarchy represents a modernist view of what its members should serve and do. Apart from economizing, the king rationalizes the number of active royals so as to make it more relevant and service-oriented rather than one based on privilege. He has encouraged his family members to take meaningful public service roles as opposed to purely honorary or symbolic ones, further cultivating the image of the royal family as one of duty and public service. These reforms, which King Charles spearheaded, reveal his fondness for a lean and modern monarchy. He thus takes the monarchy into the future, preserving tradition but at the same time maintaining full economic and social realism in the 21st century. However, Princess Anne has made known her skepticism of King Charles III's vision for a slimmed-down monarchy. Princess Anne is one dedicated member of the royal family and is well respected. She has warned that such a reduction in active working royals could mount immense pressure on the remaining members, something that might well culminate in inefficiency and gaps in the service of the royal family to the public. Anne's position arises from her years in the royal family, during which she grew to become one of the busiest and toughest players in the institution. That, perhaps, is the sense of dedication to duty that has earned her a reputation as a potent force within the monarchy. Anne's reluctance toward a slimmed-down monarchy speaks to an understanding of how much work goes into being an active royal. The princess has been one of the busiest members of the royal family for many years, often carrying out hundreds of engagements annually. She explained that thinning out the working royals means there is going to be an issue, where the remaining few are going to be overstretched, doing unsustainable volumes of work. In other words, with fewer active members, the share in engagements, appearances, and commitments all over the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth would have to become larger for each. More so, Anne once indicated apprehension that a trimmed-down, active royal family would actually damage the monarchy's ability to relate with its people. Besides, the value of the royal family does not come in ceremonial appearance but in visibility and being accessible to people. Anne also hints that, given that there would be fewer royals available to attend functions and meet the public or represent the monarchy throughout the Commonwealth, the public might start to view them as increasingly remote and out of touch. Experience has taught her that the strength of the monarchy is drawn from direct engagement, a role she has undertaken wholeheartedly throughout her career. In many respects, Anne has a spectacular legacy as a working royal. She has been one of the hardest working royals, often outpacing her siblings and even her parents in the number of annual engagements since taking on full-time royal duties in the late 1960s. This has won her great favor with the public eye and entrenches her as a deeply respected member of the royal family. Everyone would remember her contributions to healthcare, sports, and international relations. Being the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Anne grew up imbued with the notion of duty and service. As a matter of fact, this really rubbed off in the way she carried on with her life as royalty. She gave herself fully to the life of a royal. Unlike many, Princess Anne didn't give any title to her children, instead allowing them to have low-key lives beyond all the scrutiny and pressure that did come with the rightful titles. She has been practical and selfless in nature in the work she has undertaken. Indeed, it was her commitment to service that made her stand out and an example for future generations of the royal family, especially now that the monarchy faces a series of new challenges. Princess Anne is amazingly able to handle her patronage of numerous organizations and charities. She has been president of Save the Children UK since 1970 and has traveled widely in its support. She is a hands-on royal who is not above getting directly involved in many aspects of her charitable work, a fact well appreciated by the heads of charities and their beneficiaries. Equally, she has an interest in sports and has committed resources to some. For example, her promotion of equestrian sports reflects her lifelong connection with the sport and her commitment to physical activity and personal growth. Princess Anne's stand on downsizing comes from her appreciation of the various works that each member of the royal family does. Long-term, each one of the royals developed certain interests and areas of expertise that cumulatively add up to the well-roundedness the British way of life and values truly deserves. Anne fears that once the number of active royals becomes smaller, the monarchy will lack some of that diversity, having fewer members to represent the wide-ranging causes of the institution. While her work is certainly greatly focused on humanitarian causes, other family members are deeply involved in mental health, environmentalism, and youth development, among many others. Anne is concerned that a slimmed-down monarchy would want active royals to be press-ganged into supporting causes for which they care little or about which they know very little. This would water down the quality of the involvement and hence weaken the effectiveness of the monarchy as an institution. Her influence in the royal family derives from her personal record and her deep level of understanding of the requirements of the royal service. The reasons for this involve not only her being the most senior, but also, over time, her making an effort to show loyalty to core institutional values. 2 decades of work have framed the monarchy that Princess Anne is familiar with, and she has often resisted trends or changes that she believes would compromise either effectiveness or integrity on behalf of the royal family. Over the years, she has built a reputation as one of the hardest working royals. Now, her legacy stands poised to offset that of King Charles's more reformist approach. When she argues a point, it does so from a point of view steeped in tradition and pragmatism garnered from a lifetime of experience. The heft of Anne's influence serves as a reminder of the risks and challenges accompanying such change as King Charles presses on with his vision for a slimmed-down monarchy. Her voice gives balance to the wheel of modernization, while the connected royal family is willing and ready to work to serve the expanded and exacting public. She remains the voice of reason that will keep the family anchored in the core principles that it is founded on. Before now, the heir apparent to the throne, Prince William, Prince of Wales, had lined up with his father, King Charles III, on the vision for a slimmed-down monarchy. Like Charles, William had acknowledged the need the people felt for better openness and accountability in the way the house conducts its affairs. William seems, however, to have been himself persuaded in recent months by Princess Anne's opposition to the slimming-down plan. Princess Anne, a very seasoned royal with decades of tireless service behind her, is alarmed that such downsizing would put an inordinate strain on the active members, at risk of shrinking the monarchy's reach and public engagement. This stand at the moment seems to have rubbed off on Prince William, who is expected to take after his father. King Charles's failing health seems to make that imminent, making Prince William the one on who the future of the household rests. Princess Anne, long admired by William for her dedication to her job, had been a model to him of just what a modern royal should be, which is being hardworking, humble, and actually committed to the people. She has the largest portfolio of patronages than any royal and an unusually busy schedule of engagements, often outpacing her relatives with hundreds of appearances annually. William trusts her judgment, and her warnings about the dangers of thinning the ranks of the working royals reflect his own developing sense that he, his wife, and a handful of others would be left to carry most of the workload in a downsized monarchy. Princess Anne's counter-argument that a leaner list would put unsustainable demands on the remaining royals and therefore ultimately reduce the level of personal contact royals can provide has sent William second-guessing the potency of the idea. Another aspect of this switch in William's thinking is how he looks upon the monarchy in relation to the people. Anne made a point that fewer royals would automatically mean fewer contact points the monarchy could make with the people. She even felt personal contacts are considered to be a core of the monarchy's image and impact, creating proximity, approachability, and trust in the minds of the citizens. William knows from his own experience how his mother, Princess Diana, was able to establish personal contact with the people in many ways, each reaching deep into the hearts of the people. He knows full well that a remote or too streamlined royal family will eventually lose its friends. William also understands the logistical impossibility of a slimmed-down monarchy. The modern monarchy is not bound to consist of the United Kingdom alone, but is present in the Commonwealth, with commitments through a wide range of regions, causes, and demographics. Cutting down on active royals risks losing those commitments to leave parts of the Commonwealth and other communities feeling neglected or underrepresented. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is also undeniably understanding with respect to Princess Anne's position. She is indeed a very committed royal with quite substantial influences from her own charitable work and knows fully well the value of personal, face-to-face involvement in such a role. Early childhood development, mental health, and support for families are causes dear to Catherine since she entered the royal family. She does not believe in mere appearances at places of issues, but has developed relationships through the investment of time and effort with individuals, charities, and the community at large in which real connections have been established. Using the one-on-one approaches, she has gained insight into the ordinary person's problems, to which meaningful contributions have been tailored. Catherine also agrees with Anne on the grounds that fewer members of the royal family would reduce the monarchy's capability for such personal links and water down the effectiveness of the family's charitable work. Catherine's view meets well with Anne's, in seeing the value of the monarchy as a function of its presence and access. The inevitable consequence of fewer active royals would be that each family member would have to cover more causes, with less time and energy being channeled into any one issue. Catherine further recognizes that such spread would reduce the quality of the royal engagements, making the relationship superficial instead of the deep, sustained partnerships that have defined Princess Anne's and her own approach to service. For Catherine, who has worked with organizations such as the National Portrait Gallery, Place 2B, and Heads Together, what makes a monarchy effective is how authentically it can reach out to and connect with people at every level of society. Most of all, her work with early childhood initiatives has taught her how to listen, observe, and interact in meaningful ways, which are all qualities that might be eroded if the royal team shrinks. The couple's deliberations also underscore the recognition that in a slimmed-down monarchy of the future, much of the burden would fall upon them and their children. Thanks to Princess Anne, William and Catherine have grown more attuned to the implications of downsizing for the next generation. The consequences of passing a smaller but overloaded monarchy to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis have been factored into their decision-making. Anne's example as a hard-working royal with a balanced approach to the demands of both duty and family life provides, for the first time, some sort of template as William and Catherine face the future. They say a full, committed roster of working royals is not only key to managing current demands, but also crucial in offering their children and generations to come a sustainable workload. In fact, the force of Anne's legacy and some of the practical challenges she has underlined have made their mark on William's thinking when he considers his possible role as a future monarch. Indeed, the Prince of Wales has grown increasingly cautious about the long-term implications that would be brought about by a slimmed-down monarchy, realizing that short-term financial benefits may be outweighed by the potential loss of reach, impact, and connection. With fewer royals, the monarchy's ability to cover charitable, ceremonial, and Commonwealth commitments would shrink, leaving gaps that could weaken the institution's relevance and public support. In the end, William's shift away from downsizing reflects his determination that the monarchy will survive and be in robust shape. Therefore, he is pursuing more of a middle-way strategy where he would set the goal of having an adequately strong, active royal lineup that could ensure the monarchy remained attached, useful, and resilient. Catherine is in agreement with this decision, underlining a common vision for a monarchy based upon service and compassion, a heritage they would wish to continue while continuing to show deep respect for values which Anne typifies among other royals. In all, King Charles insists on unity in the face of disagreements within the royal family on what shape and roles the monarchy will take in the future. He acknowledged the monarchy and the family were passing through a difficult period and pressed for unity irrespective of one's opinion on scaling back or modernizing royal duties. While Princess Anne opposed the slimmed-down monarchy so as not to overburden active royals, and given the reconsideration of Prince William and Princess Catherine regarding their stance, Charles took a balanced way out to keep the family in harmony. King Charles is more aware of the scrutiny that his family is under, which means he also realizes division would make the public become even more dissatisfied with the image that they will be projecting. He has been able to evoke in all members that it is only through mutual support in regard to change and coming together on common goals, public service, and representation that they are strong. Charles opened up a way for discussion so that each may be heard while asking them to remember the mission and legacy of the family. To this point, Charles's leadership has been marked by the determination to bridge generational and ideological divides. In placing an emphasis on unity, Charles seeks to ensure that the family is positioned to make its way together through such times, relevant and true to their duty in a world of rapid change. Will would love to hear your take on Princess Anne's opposition to downsizing in the number of working royals. We will see you in the comments, and that will be all for this video.